So it's just me and you, John. We got a release tomorrow. Sorry, everybody, for missing last week. I think I didn't do my job herding cats to try to get everybody to show up. And then the second nobody showed up, I was like, oh, great, I'm out.
It's been a busy couple of weeks for everyone. You know, I just finding the time between all of us to be able to get on, and more importantly, find time to plan and get something interesting to talk about.
Well, there's plenty interesting to talk about, but you have to plan, and that's the hard part.
Yeah. It's a lot like my life. Like I don't plan it. I just YOLO most times.
I don't know how you do the YOLO, but I mean, I plan a lot of things, but I haven't been reading much. I haven't been following news stories. I haven't even been following hacker news. I've been knee deep in work. Kids started camps this week. I mean, well, that's a fun little side tangent. Have you ever driven your car for 6 hours with a muffler off? Disconnected?
No.
I did. I did that last night.
I bet your ears hurt.
I had noise canceling headphones because they are fucking awesome. So apparently the muffler catalytic converter had one of the bolts rusted out, and so it had popped down, and they fixed it when I got home. But
okay,
6 fucking hours because I wasn't.
It didn't get stolen because there's a lot of people stealing those things from.
But I wasn't stopping. I was going to stop. I'm going home. I had 6 hours to drive from Maine to home. I was going to do it.
I'm about to do, I'd say between 2 days, about a 14-hour drive. So we'll see if I survive.
Well, who's going to be in the car with you is the question. I was solo for most of that, or my 14-year-old son who played video games and told me not to talk to him.
My 6-year-old daughter, who's pretty much going to do the same thing as your 14-year-old son, and my 2.5-year-old, who's probably going to scream at the top of his lungs
and throw things at you.
And throw things at me. We recently switched seats, so my daughter's graduated to a larger car seat.
Yep.
And my son now can throw his bottle at my head while I'm driving. Because
so he moved from behind you to catty corner to you.
Exactly.
There, you made a mistake. Like, you never give up the seats.
And he's a pretty good throw. I just have to say, like, you know, he's hit me in the head with the bottle probably more in the last 2 weeks than he has before.
Oh, God.
Not going to say I accidentally dropped a full bottle on his foot this morning. Didn't really feel that
bad. I will save this for when he's 12, and I'll send this to him and be like, it was all on purpose. All good fun.
Predefined outcomes.
So we got a couple topics, and I'm going to kick it off to you, John. Blackstone?
Yeah. So, you know, an interesting thing happened. I had opportunity, you know, my grill decided to fall over at my house and just completely get obliterated. And for a long time, I've been looking at Blackstone because, you know, griddle and cooking.
I love stuff. I swear by them. You know me.
And never cooked. I mean, I've cooked on a griddle before. I was a shorter to cook for a short period of time in my life. But the Blackstone, I've never used it. And I found a deal. Actually, I found 2 deals. One at Costco where this thing was like almost half off. And I bought it right up, set it up, and the thing is amazing. Like,
it's fucking so much better than a grill.
I feel like it was a decision I should have made a long time ago to move away from a regular grill, because I also do smoking, and the smoker that I have also has a grill. So if I really need to grill something over an open flame, I can do it. But the fact that I can, well, I mean, it's pretty egregious. I'm never going to cook 40 hamburgers in my life at the same time.
I have.
Except
on my griddle, I've had a block party. It's awesome. Yeah. But then I would like to describe, you have one job at an event like that, and that is standing over that grill for hours. Once they figure out you know what you're doing.
Exactly. And I do have to say, the smash burger type of burger you can absolutely make.
I'm going to interject because you got a smoker. Somebody, I want to try this. Somebody says, turn your smoker on and take your 2-ounce meat patties, put them on a sheet, and smoke them at 200 degrees for 30 minutes before you do smash burger. So you have a smash burger, but with just a thin ring of smoke.
I love smoking salmon.
Okay.
Probably the single best thing what I'll do is I will smoke about 3 or 4 whole salmons every Thanksgiving, and then just do that with crackers for like hors d'oeuvres for the next like 2 holidays. And yeah, smoked salmon's amazing. Chicken, I could give her honestly, chicken's chicken, right?
Yeah.
Made a mistake one year. I figured, I'm going to be smart and I'm going to be forward thinking, and I'm going to smoke a turkey for
No.
Thanksgiving. Especially since when I went there, I bought a chicken.
Wait. These are. Go on.
So I go to the grocery store in Maryland. It's Harris Teeter.
I haven't been to one of those in 25 years.
I walk in 2 days before Thanksgiving, and I asked the guy in the back. I'm like, hey, I need I need a turkey that isn't frozen because I'm going to smoke it, and I want to brine it first. So he tells me, go to this refrigerator, and he said, here's the brine. He's like, here's some of the brining material we have, the different spices and whatnot. So I go and do it. Of course, I don't read anything. I just like, oh yeah, who would ever stock, chicken, unfrozen chicken during Thanksgiving next to like the center freezer thing full of like, I don't know, 100 turkeys. So
Harris Teeter.
Here's the best thing about it. I didn't realize it was chicken until I cooked it. Until after it was cooked.
How big was the fucking chicken?
It wasn't that big. We didn't have a lot of people over.
Okay. So you were looking for a small one.
Smaller. And I cooked it. I'm like, this tastes a lot like chicken. I'm like, damn, that smoke is like, why doesn't this taste like turkey? And I go and I dig the little wrapper or whatever out of the trash. And I'm like, son of a bitch.
I love my Blackstone grill. It is the single best way to have people over. It's there's so many options. There's so much you can do. It is way better than the grill, and the food comes out so much consistently. You're going to make a better meal with a griddle every time.
So here's the thing. Consistently, I agree. You're going to make a better meal with the griddle. It's easier to clean up. Your grill doesn't get disgusting, like the actual burners and everything. It doesn't matter if you have one of those grills with the little the guards to stop the burners from getting gunked up. It still gets gunked up. The Blackstone, it's a pretty simple design, but the fact that the griddle's there and the way that all the grease kind of comes out the back is perfect. Single best thing about it is the next morning I woke up and made pancakes and eggs and everything, and I was just like, yeah, this is money right here.
Yeah. I will say one of the hardest things to cook is a good burger on an open flame gas grill. It is so hard to do that people are like, oh no, no, it's fucking hard. Otherwise you either burn it, you destroy it, your grist.
It just doesn't taste good.
It's so
here's the thing.
right.
When you have a burger on a charcoal grill,
yeah,
it fucking tastes amazing. It's a charcoal grill. I don't care what you cook it on. You can never get that flavor of a charcoal grill. You cook it on the Blackstone, you get the caramelization.
Yep.
You get a smash burger, like really good. It tastes like you're at a traditional, diner.
Yep.
If you're in the Northeast, that's what they cook it on. A gas grill, that fucking thing sucks. Yes. Like it's not juicy. It's dry.
You have like a 3.1 millisecond time when it's cooked right, and you have to pull it off, put it in the right place, do something with it. And if you fuck it up, because there's only one burger that's going to come out okay, everything else is either dry and a puck-like or a soppy mess that's falling all over the place.
And here's the thing with the griddle. I haven't fucked a burger up, and I probably cooked about, 20 of them in the last few weeks. I don't know. It's very, very difficult to mess up a burger on a griddle because it cooks evenly. There's no like space between the different grates. It cooks great. You don't
get flame ups, which get that whole burn flavor. It's just
the flame ups from a charcoal grill taste great. The flame ups on a natural gas or propane grill tastes like crap.
Well, it's because it's too hot down there. It's just pure heat. And the charcoal, yes, but you get all that. No, thank you. It just burned. It's just burned.
So what I haven't cooked on it yet is a steak.
I don't cook my steak on it.
I don't think it'll taste good.
I do my steaks in a cast iron pan. The thing is, the griddle works fine for that, and I've done it.
Won't get hot enough though, right?
No, it gets hot enough. It's hard to use I still like to put a butter in there. You need a little oil. It's hard to control the location of all that stuff. Kind of flows around, so it's not as easy. I'll do it for not a high quality steak, high end steak. Otherwise, I'm going to use my my wok in a cast iron stove because that thing gets 1,000,000,000 degrees in about 3 seconds, and I can get an awesome sear as long as I don't burn it because it gets to about 1,100 degrees, I think, which is too hot for surface meat. It will also burn very quick.
So what's your steak cook? What's your best cook for you for a steak? How do you
My best steak cook, it's almost ribeye from the local butcher. Let it put it on the counter, salt it. No,
what kind of salt?
What?
What kind of salt?
Kosher salt. But
Kosher
I don't use that. I use flaky salt at the end. Madone's. Yep. Kosher salt. We like diamond kosher salt, just preference. And salt it, leave it out there, and then I'll sous vide it. And then I'll pull it out of the bag after 2 hours, and then I'll find the hottest thing, cover it with it, dry it, pat it dry, put a little bit of oil, olive oil preferably, and sear the not avocado oil.
Avocado, okay.
Or flaxseed oil is great too, but I always have avocado oil. And just crisp the hell out of one side of it. And I can't usually crisp the second side as well as the first one because the holding that temperature on that flame inside is really, really hard. And so I have to really move it around a lot and jostle it.
2 pans.
What?
2 pans.
Yeah. Oh, that might make sense. And then serve it relatively quickly. I understand you're supposed to let it rest. I don't like it resting as too much because I like it. That edge of the temperature is got to be.
You like that. I mean, we both are the Peter Lukers. You like it coming out hot. Yeah. So I really like you. So you got me into sous vide. I really like the sous vide. It's a lot of work. And
I don't. Oh, we're gonna have a sous vide. Like, what do you mean?
We will. It's what I mean by a lot of work is I mean that I have to prep it, and for me, it's scheduling. There's a lot of work.
There's this thing called calendars.
Clocks? Yeah, it's very difficult. I mean, I'm more likely to eat than to actually have a calendar that tells me when to eat. So I actually prefer more lately. I do the reverse sear method.
Okay, I love the reverse.
It works great. And you just finish with a little bit of finishing salt. You don't do any type of pan sauce?
Not when I'm doing a high-end good steak. That just basically salt and steak is just generally it. But yeah, when I'm not doing that, I'll do all kinds of crazy things and have fun with it. But
I've been doing a lot of
reverse sear sous vide. This is the ultimate for cooking for a large number of people when you don't know when things are going to be ready.
So explain that.
It's the best way to do it when you're going to do steaks for like 20 people. You take the steaks while they're cold and you sear them. And then you put them in a bag and then you sous vide them. So when you pull them out of the bag, they're perfect temperature. They're not wet. And all you do is sizzle, sizzle, serve. Because you can take that Maillard Connect, that brown is already there, and you just crisp it up with a little bit of oil on a pan.
Interesting.
And you can put it out. So you can get from sous vide bath to plate to in front of people to 20 people inside of 5 minutes.
That's awesome.
It is. It means
that's awesome.
All prep on steak is gone, and it's all side prep.
That's awesome. See, that's definitely something listen, I don't know the last time I've ever cooked more than 3 or 4 steaks at a time, let alone 20, but I could
20
see
people,
if you're...
So that's what, five ribeyes and 2, like 4 porterhouse. But that's that kind of thing.
And I think for me, so we're talking about steak. What's your sides?
I'm bad. I don't eat that many sides, and I don't like mashed potatoes.
All right. We might have to end this podcast right now. How do you not like mashed potatoes? Oh my God.
I don't like mashed potatoes.
I love mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
I love mashed potatoes so much I had to stop eating them.
So have you ever made pomme puree?
No.
I am not going to help your cholesterol level with what I would say. So you take 3 pounds of potatoes, peel them, put them in a bag.
Any kind? Yellow?
Yeah, yellow, whatever you like, whatever your preference is. And then
golden, Yukon Gold.
Take the equivalent amount of butter.
Sweet potatoes.
Put it in a sous vide.
Wait, the equivalent amount of butter?
Yes.
like 3 pounds of butter?
Yes.
Okay.
And you sous vide them. So you sous vide the potatoes in butter.
So you've peeled the potatoes, put them in there with 3 pound equivalent size of butter. No seasoning at all?
No seasoning yet.
Unsalted butter?
Unsalted butter.
Okay.
Sous vide them. till they're basically, then you just take them,
Yeah.
pull them
Just
out,
squish them.
and you run them through a sieve. So you
Right.
run them through sieve so they're perfectly mashed. You never stir them, so you'll never get any of
The starch.
the starches will never cook
Yeah.
at all, and they can hold all that butter.
Oh my God. I can't make that.
It is ungodly good.
So my wife and I are for Thanksgiving our like cheat. We do heavy cream
Yep.
with mashed potatoes, butter, and then goat cheese.
Yep.
And
Good choice.
come
I
out
like the
amazing.
strong flavor.
And good chives, like fresh chives,
So we're gonna go through the cooking. What else would I suggest? Palm puree is fantastic with steak. Chicken is always done the same way for me. It's usually a 2-day process, and I will take a spatchcock of chicken, cover it in an ungodly amount of salt, and I mean literally piling it on like it's covered in clay, and just leave it there in the refrigerator overnight. Pull it, wash off all the salt, and then then I will take a herb butter and stuff it underneath the skin. And then I will put a little bit of bacon grease on top, and then cut a little bit of salt and pepper on the top. So what you get is
we're gonna be like salivating by the end of this episode.
Oh, it's the most awesome chicken. And then 45 minutes, relatively high heat, 100 degrees, you get chicken that it's almost like a chicken rind. It's like whatever. It's crunchy. It's fantastic. It's wonderful.
It's hard to get that crunch.
It isn't if you put it isn't if you separate
bacon
the
grease
meat with butter,
but also drying out the skin with all that salt.
But also the bacon grease works better than butter because it doesn't burn.
I mean, of course.
So because of bacon grease on the outside allows it to take all that direct radiant heat from the heater without burning. And now the butter inside just adds all the wonderful buttery flavor, but it's protected from the direct heat. So all you have is frying from the inside, frying from the outside, and you have wonderful, crispy, bubbly skin.
So you sous vide it?
No,
first.
This is just...
Oh, you don't sous vide?
No, I don't sous vide.
Okay. Best vegetable you've ever sous vide? Sous vide? Sous vide, whatever.
I like most of my vegetables pretty crunchy and fresh. I don't sous vide many of them. The secret best side I've had, shrimp cocktail. Because shrimp are one of those things where it's so easy to overcook. Sous videing for exactly 3 minutes at the temperature. They're in a vacuum sealed bag, so then you can move them directly to a cold plunge. Makes the single best shrimp ever.
I love carrots, and carrot sous vide come out amazing. A little bit of butter, some
little maple syrup, maybe.
Maple syrup comes out. Glazed carrots.
See, I like my carrots crunchy still.
Really? I do too, but I like it soft with the crunch rather than crunchy, entirely crunch.
Yeah, no, that's like you're gonna find I'm a texture person, so all my things will end for texture. But yeah, no, I'm a butter lover, so I add butter to everything.
Hey man, statins need their population.
I'll talk about that for a second. My cholesterol is down to 164 from 340.
Wow. My eyes are wide right now.
Dude, statins are fucking magic. They are the greatest drugs ever.
My cholesterol is about 168, I think, and I don't take statins. But
my doctor's very happy with my current cholesterol.
I imagine I'd be very happy with the results as well.
Well, I've had 340 for 12 years.
Wow.
I mean, most of the doctors are like, look, we're never going to get it down. And finally, the most recent statin did get it down.
Well, there it is, man. I mean, listen, I think you said this at one point, the whole country at some point is going to be on a statin. So it's going to be like aspirin.
Yeah.
They
are magic. If your body can handle the particular one that works, fucking medical miracle. So...
Let's talk about food for 20 minutes.
I could do this all day. I turned it into science projects, and that's what I like.
I have one more thing I have to talk about.
Please.
It's a secret. But if you like apple pie...
I want to predict. Sharp cheddar cheese?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Mm-mm. It starts with smoking chicken on your smoker. And I have a barrel smoker.
Mhm.
So it's not a regular smoker, not a pellet smoker. Barrel smoker, you got, it's hard to keep it hot, but it's charcoal.
Yep.
Pitbarrel.com, great smoker if anyone wants to get one. Smoke your chicken, get all the grease, get good, and you throw that you throw that pie right on top, and you smoke the pie.
You've told me about this before.
It is amazing.
See, I love smoke, but I don't like desserts. So like there's very few desserts that I would try this one because it's going to hit into that savory feel.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I could try that one.
I know the cheddar cheese in the Northeast is a big thing.
Yep.
I never did it. I don't like it. Like I can't get past the.
I like it because it turns it less in like my problem with dessert. It's very sweet and it's overpowering and it's all you taste to me. And it pulls it way back from that edge into like, oh, this is something different.
So I do have to say, most apple pies that you buy at like a grocery store, way too sweet.
Oh my God, it's way too sweet.
I prefer, Granny Smith apple pie.
Yep.
Like that. And with as little
bit
sugar
bitter,
as
a little bit tart.
Exactly. And then you put the smoke on it.
Have you tried smoking Philadelphia cream cheese yet?
No, but someone else has told me that, and it's actually on my list of things to do for next holiday when I do my salmon.
Covered in cheese, covered in all the normal things, and then you smoke it all, and then you just scoop it in.
So what I have smoked is, so you get your butterflied shrimp, you wrap it in bacon, wrap it in, put cream cheese between the butterfly, wrap it in bacon, and then you throw a jalapeno on it, and you smoke that.
I could go for that. That's right up my alley.
That one's good.
That's right up there. I could go with that. Now I just came back from dinner with my wife, and I wasn't hungry, but now I am.
Yeah, I'm making myself hungry, but honestly, like I just haven't felt great today. So probably because I haven't eaten a lot today. Yeah. But honestly, I don't feel like eating, so I'm just drinking a lot of water.
It's a choice.
It is a choice.
I would be a cranky shithead right now if I didn't eat today.
Well, no, I've eaten. I just haven't eaten a lot. So like the first time I ate was at 1:00. I ate chicken breast that I cooked like 4 chicken breasts on the Blackstone.
Okay.
Second thing I ate was a quarter of a Quest bar, protein bar here. Hated it because my wife didn't like the flavor, so she gave me the box, of course. And I tasted it, and I'm just like, this thing tastes like shit. So then the dog came.
That's why I gave it to you.
The dog came over because I put it in the trash. He took one bite out of it and spit it out. So Quest, the caramel chocolate chunk is a loser. And then the last thing I ate a little bit more chicken, and then I had a bowl of Cheerios. That's all I've eaten today.
Before we move on, because we're still talking about food, I've been experimenting with my wife about to cook more at home. Can we do things more prep but make them easier? So we started doing halal chicken, which is like street food, like street meat.
I've never done that, but I'm on the edge of my seat here because if you give me the secret to halal chicken.
It's really easy, just lots of herbs. But here's the awesome part: is we cook it on a grill, and then we chop it up and we put it in Ziploc bag, in freezer bags, in individual portions, and we freeze them. So we have literally, and then when we want to eat them, we throw them in the sous vide bag at serving temperature, so that it never gets too hot to overcook them. It never gets really bad. So just bring them up to temperature, and then you cook them back, and there you go. You have halal chicken, or we have chipotle chicken. We're going to try chicken tikka masala next, and I'm doing carnitas next weekend.
Carnitas I've made, awesome. I made carnitas actually a few weeks ago. They come out amazing. Have you ever? I'm going to totally screw this up, but I've made an Indian chicken dish with a yogurt. And you basically put the yogurt in the chicken, you leave it overnight.
Yep.
Amazing.
Yes. A little bit of lemon juice. So chicken tikka masala is usually done that way. Same thing with butter chicken.
Butter chicken. That's what I made. I love butter chicken, and I don't care who makes the butter chicken. That's still like my favorite dish that I'll get at an Indian restaurant. Along with, I don't know what it's called, but the chickpea appetizer. I could eat
samosa
that
or samosa chai.
No, samosa chai.
I love
basically.
Samosa chai.
I could eat that every day of my life.
Tamarind sauce. They got the rice puff.
Just amazing.
It's fantastic.
I do have to say, being in the area I'm in, Northern Virginia, it's amazing for Indian food, Pakistani food. Like, great. The only other place that is a little bit better is Jersey City, New Jersey, and still the best place I've ever had butter chicken.
London's best place I've ever had Indian
Fair
food.
point.
Because I haven't
Yeah.
been to India. But there's a Patel Brothers in Norwalk, Connecticut. Have you ever been to a Patel Brothers?
No.
It is a Indian grocery store. The fucking spices. There's 4 walls, just the entire aisles, beginning to end, of every spice. They're all fresh and they're so cheap. Like me and my wife go to Patel Brothers and we spend $100 in spices. We're like, we're not going to buy spices for 3 years.
Wow.
It's crazy how cheap it is. And they're wonderful. Like their cinnamon is the best cinnamon I've ever found because it's this huge bag of cinnamon. And you're like, what the fuck? It's $3.
So, one last thing, because we're on a half hour now talking about food. When I become an extremely successful billionaire, the one thing that
Do you need a secretary? I'm happy to help
be
out.
my secretary. The one thing I'm buying for you could be my chef. The one thing I'm buying for my house is a shawarma rotisserie.
One of our friends just bought one recently.
Really?
Yes, I gotta remember. God, they were talking. They sent me a link to it. And they're like, "It's worth it." And I go, "It's a single-use device. Don't use single-use.
Single use. Use it multiple times a day. What are you talking about?"
No, it only has one use. You can put lamb on it or chicken. That's about it.
They have the lamb chicken mix. I'm sure you could put a turducken on there.
So we know what to get you for the holiday party, for the Bites of Wisdom holiday party. John wants.
No, I literally have nowhere to put this thing. I have way too many appliances in my house that aren't used. But I am looking forward to eventually, hopefully, maybe owning a halal street meat cart.
That's a rough life, but at least you'd still be dealing with idiots, so it's going to be no matter
It'd probably
what.
be easier just to make a deal with the guy and tell him that I'll give him like a one-time payment. I get one a day.
I think we should move on because I don't think our 30 minutes.
This isn't bites of like food.
But we get to have fun sometimes. We do, but I think we should. Let's try to keep somewhat technology faced, but policy and government and leadership and things. And I was talking to a good friend of mine, and what came up was politics, but I don't want to talk about politics, but it's something that I think is really missed in the current conversation around politics about what we should be doing in this country. And that is predictability. And that predictability is what we want. And it's from somebody who's running building a company. They don't care necessarily whether one state is blue or red. What they want is a predictable time to market, predictable time to complete. And right now, I think that's one of the biggest things that the United States has a problem with is being predictable. In like, if you were to go to Buffalo and say, I want to build a factory, can you guarantee that won't be shutting down for some regulatory reason? Can you predict that you can tell your shareholders, let's invest $1 billion here because we won't get delayed for 7 years, which is the average delay, by the way, in the United States for building a factory. Not I didn't say construction time. I said delay. Mm-hmm. We need to figure out how to solve and get things more predictable. And that's what I want to talk about. I think it's important.
So I agree about the predictability. I mean, if there's anything we can see with some of the blue chip stocks and some of the other, large cap market companies, like predictability is one of the big thing in their earnings. And it's different than what you're talking about.
I know.
But it's similar enough to where I think you can draw kind of comparisons between a lot of the things. Regulation is, but, I think if I had to choose between the two, like if I had to choose between, being in a highly regulated or an often, I guess you can't really make the argument often changing and predictability, but a highly regulated market versus like a predictable market, I'm going to choose the predictable market because at that point you can guarantee to your shareholders, to your business, to your customers that they're going to receive whatever their goods that you're selling in a time frame that you can hit, right?
Yeah, but to even more than that is, let's even say, what if the variant? What if it was actually going to be probably more expensive, but at least you had, because you had a predictable end date. So like let's say you're going to be a factory, it's going to take 3 years, but the other one will be cheaper, but you don't know for sure if it's going to make it get done in 3 years. So you could have a variable outstanding of 4 to 5 to 6 years. What would you pick as a business leader?
I'm torn here,
I
actually,
know. That's why
because
that's why I want to explore this.
because if you point to SpaceX and Boeing, you're probably going to choose the variable one because SpaceX is the one that delivered faster.
Yeah.
When they had a very unpredictable research and development and execution for their rocketry and the boosters and the Dragon spacecraft. And then you point to Boeing, which as of right now still hasn't come down yet from from the International Space Station because they had like a 17 to 20% failure in the thrusters. The only thing that lets them maneuver in space. Sorry, this isn't a Boeing.
No, but
we already did that.
But still, you're taking this in a very different direction. I was thinking about regulation and in innovation and how it feels slow to do things in the United States because of EPA. Like I'll use the high-speed rail in California and how expensive it was. And I'm like, it could have been expensive if it was predictable, but I don't think it was predictable. And so I'm trying to figure out where that line is. And I'm using this conversation to have that. But I want to take your point before we come back to the regulation. Is experimentation is very different than predictability. And what you're talking about is a high experimentation rate, which is you are factoring in a huge amount of failure into it. And that's you're like, hey, look, I'm going to innovate with experimentation by having a 50% failure
a lot
rate
of money
with a lot of money because I can beat everything to market. That's very different than what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is when you go to the government to say, I want to experiment quickly, instead of having an endless unknown set of laws in front of you, you have a time window guaranteed to you so that you would go like, I would like to build a space port in New Mexico. And you go, I want the process to do, I am going to commit $2.6 billion to build this here. Go. And the government has a set timeline by which they can agree, fight, whatnot. But at some point in time, there is no further comment. It is done.
What I find interesting a lot as well is that more recently, probably in the last 15 years, large cap companies like Amazon and others have bid their large headquarters and large buildings. Now, granted, they're not factories, but office buildings, and they do it based on tax incentives, right? So it's almost like
but they also do it on regulation. So
of course,
because they go like, look, we want a defined time frame for execution, and the city wants that too because that's part of their push.
Absolutely. So that in that particular case, and again, it's a different use case than kind of what you mentioned with factories.
Yeah, but it's still the same idea. I like this.
I think you tend to get things that are more predictable because there's incentives on both sides to execute. Now, granted, Amazon's a bad example for HQ2 because of just COVID and a whole bunch of other reasons why HQ2 stalled. The point's still valid.
I want to take your idea. So one of the big problems I have with what we say is we need to grow our way out of this and we want to innovate. It's because I was worried like, hey, I don't want to give up on clean air. I'm not willing to give that up. I don't want to pass on that. But I don't want to sit there and say that we can't do things because of the Clean Air Act. I think they need to be bounded in space. But I think you've just put forward a different idea, is that you use a capital, like a market-based system where you go like, great, I'm going to put out to market to the states a bid for regulation, compliance, and timeliness, and invert the equation. Go like, hey, you want our business? Great, we'll take it to Texas, we'll take it to New York, but let's invert it. How does that work? And I mean this truly. I get why it works for Amazon. I get why it could work. How do you do this at the smaller scale? And that's how do you make a market at the smaller level, the city level, or some way to make it so that people can manage their risk of time to doing things?
I'm gonna play the other side of this now. If I'm a city, I don't even know if they are city planner, city board, whatever.
Yep.
I'm not gonna do this at the smaller scale because I know the smaller businesses can't leave for the most part. Like they're stuck to the area. I'm gonna not tax the shit out of them, but I'm gonna make sure that I have a predictable amount of tax revenue.
Yes, and I get that's their incentive.
And for the larger businesses, for the large cap office spaces, for the chip fabs that we're trying to bring onshore, which I still don't think is going to happen.
They will.
It needs to happen, but like,
They
what
will
are we
just
going
because
to
of
get
defense
out of
contracts, but
Yeah.
whether
What are we
it will
gonna
be
get?
economically viable is to be determined.
Yeah, I do think that you can use that methodology for some of these businesses that people traditionally have offshored, right, in the last 35 years. I don't think that using it, and I don't know if you're trying to go this way, but I don't think
I
that
don't know.
using
I'm
it
just this is open.
as an incentive for green is going to work.
No,
It hasn't worked.
Nobody cares about green. I mean, let me.
I
This
mean,
isn't political.
People care, but they
don't
don't
show
want to
up.
sacrifice for it.
I just look at the SUVs. That's all you got to say. Nobody's actually willing to give up anything to be green. So
I mean, I bought a hybrid SUV.
how big is it?
It's the same size of the ICE one that I had 3 years before.
I'm just saying, if we wanted to be efficient and we actually wanted to do something for the planet with cars, your car would be way less.
The F-150 just won the Colorado truck pull.
Yay!
The electric F-150.
Oh, I mean, I believe it, but my point being is people aren't willing to give up what they want for the environment. They want other people. They're willing to politically say everybody should, but they'll do recycling. But they're not going to give up the car they want.
Absolutely. And here's the thing. Honestly, I love cars. I mean, we're not going to talk about that because we could, again, talk for another 2 hours on that. But I personally don't care if it's a gas powered car, natural gas powered car, propane, electric. I want the damn thing to be fast. And I want to be able to, throw it into a fucking corner and enjoy it. And I think we're at a point in electric vehicles or, alternative vehicles, whatever you want to call them, that they're utilitarian still. You don't have, with the exception of the Model S, I don't even think you can buy it anymore. I mean, you don't have sports
cars. The Porsche
cars.
Taycan is bonkers fun, but
I've never actually seen one, but I'm sure it is.
Oh my God, it's crazy fun.
Yeah.
So I don't know where we're going with this anymore.
I don't know where we're going either. But one thing, about just regulation, I think it's what's difficult in climate change and climate regulation is that, we are the largest economy in the world. Are we?
Yes.
Or one of the largest?
Yeah. We're still the largest economy in the world.
And you have, up and coming countries like India and China who have what? Collectively 10 times the population of us, maybe not quite 10 times.
2 billion between both of them. So yeah, about 5 times.
5 times population of us. And they've been able to call their way out of poverty, but like it's not easy to tell someone to not do that when you've been, we basically took the last 100 years and
they get to stand on the shoulders of giants. They get to do it faster and easier, but they still life is a constant battle against entropy, and it takes energy to do so. And that is what humanity does. And it's going to take energy to continue to do so. And we're getting much better and more efficient at it, but it doesn't mean we're great at it. And China's still building new coal power plants. So is India. They're building them less fast, but that's a whole different issue. But I don't think we can say no to them. But we can sit there and say, like, hey, there is better ways to do this. The solar power is really useful for the gas generation is really useful. It's just expensive comparative wise.
Expensive, and solar in particular requires, at least currently, rare earth materials that you need.
There's
a new battery I just read about, I think it was 3 weeks ago, that is no rare earth materials, and
Yep.
it's got potential to be like twice or 3 times as dense as a lithium
And
ion.
this is the thing. This is the thing that pisses me off about Elon, because I love to hate him, but then he's got a fucking unbelievably powerful motor that has no rare earth metals in it because they're like, we don't want to deal with it. And I'm like, holy shit! How the fuck did you guys do that?
You know, everyone loves to hate the man, and listen, the guy's got his own demons, and
Oh, yeah.
he clearly is, at least socially, maybe not the best person, but 100 years from now, we're going to look at him and he's going to be the single person that moved the needle.
I think there's other people that move the needle, but he's going to
More than him?
No, I did not say that.
Okay.
There's going to be other people that will say have moved the needle.
Oh, I agree, but I think that to date, he's the single person that's moved the needle for, electric or alternative energy.
But his ego kills me. But it's not. It's one of the ones that I want. Like I've said it on this podcast before. Everybody that directly works for him that I respect has come back and said he is awesome to work with. He is amazing. He's an unholy terror, but he really does these amazing things. So let's go on to our last topic. The thing that a video called to start this, and then a bunch of YouTube stuck accelerators scares the shit out of me. And I know it's really rare. I'm not something that's a rational security. I saw that video and I'm sitting there going, what the fuck? Oh my God. I know there's, oh God.
So the video you're talking about is the 6 hours at Watkins Glen?
Yep.
Okay. So just for the listeners, the past weekend was the endurance race in Watkins Glen, New York. And during, I want to say the GT3, but I don't know which classic cars it was. During the first lap, turn 1, it might have been turn 2, someone had a stuck accelerator. And he probably goes into the wall at 120, 150 miles an hour. Car flips, rotates 2 or 3 times in the air.
But anyway, stuck accelerator and dodging through cars around corners because he's passing people when you're like, holy shit.
So just for the non-racing nerds, that turn, you can take that turn flat out on an accelerator, but not on cold tires. At least I can't do it. But you definitely can't do it when there are 20 other cars in front of you and you have to dodge between them. So I give that man credit because that was the first time I saw it, I was like, what fucking idiot did that? Then I watched it and I read the fact that it was a stuck accelerator and I was like, wow, good on him. And the fact that he walked away from that crash, it could have been a lot worse. It could have been a lot worse for him and it could have been a lot worse for, half a dozen other racers on the track. And I think getting to your point with some of the other things that came out of the news this week, I saw that a Rivian drove through a wall in someone's garage the last couple of days. And I think
Tesla did the same thing, but ripped off its back quarter panel and front quarter panel. I think we just get these news stories because they're the new cars and people like to talk about the new shiny cars. And that's why they're still making the news. But it doesn't mean that out of control feeling. Like I put myself in that spot of being in that car where you're like, what the fuck is going on? Why am I going faster? And that panic, what are you going to do? Because I don't think in a Tesla and probably not a Rivian, I know how to force it to go into neutral.
Probably.
I mean, what do I do? Touching that touch screen? Ding, 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 ding.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what I would do. I'd probably, it depends on who's in the car with me. If it's just me, I'd probably just try to spin the car out, or go into the grass. It doesn't matter. Stuck accelerator pedal sucks. In a regular, even a modern car, I don't know if you can even put a car into neutral when I haven't tried like a drive-by-wire like a gearbox either, because all my cars now are drive-by-wire, pedals and gearbox.
I haven't had a true drive-by-wire on all components car yet.
Actually, I might not have a drive-by-wire. I think it's drive-by-wire.
XC90 is not.
It's not? I thought it was.
I mean, maybe the new one is.
I think the hybrid one that I have is.
It might be. Mine is not.
That car, by the way, let me just say, it has a secret little mode where it's you basically go fully into park. You I'm probably screwing it up, but you pump the pedal like 2 or 3 times to like basically set a switch
Okay.
in the firmware, and then you pop it into drive, and then within a second you put it down, and the car goes from 0 to 60 in like 3 seconds.
Oh, launch control.
Launch control. Yeah, launch. That is awesome.
All right. So Father's Day. What do you think? I got my gift. I think you should come with.
What's your gift?
4 laps around Watkins Glen.
Oh, I'll do that. Absolutely. Every day of the week. You want to know what my Father's Day gift to myself almost was?
What?
A Mazda MX-5 cup car.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That's like, oh.
I found a good deal on one on the internet, and I'm like, you don't have the room for it. And I closed the browser window.
Oh, you are really on the cusp. This is not going to go well.
I mean, honestly, like, I love racing motorcycles, not racing, but driving motorcycles. I'm not a huge fan of the racing aspect. I like the time attack, like time trials, learning a track. We don't need to talk going to this thing, but that sounds like an awesome Father's Day gift. And I would definitely, do you have a date yet, or?
No, we haven't figured the date out.
Yeah. I mean, this past
I also don't know if I'm
hot.
ready for Watkins Glen because that's a fucking hard course.
Not that hard.
I know. I'll just go drive it all day.
But what's the vehicle?
Right now, initially they put a GTR as the car.
Oh, okay.
But I said I'd rather drive something else.
See, you could get away with driving like a McLaren. I can't.
No.
It's too small for me. I'm too big.
I was thinking more of, what was the Porsche?
Oh, yeah. I was, so one of the cars that I was going to rent and, go to a track and do a track day, same thing you were doing, was a Shelby GT Ford Mustang.
So my uncle way back when had a 5.0. You remember the 5.0?
Mm-hmm.
But he bought one from Shelby.
From Shelby.
From the garage.
Yeah.
And it wasn't badged. And then he's like, you hear the car, you can hear it a mile away.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got do you know what a pole shift is?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why does he have 3 shift levers? We get in that car. He goes in the middle of the desert, and he finally puts all 3 forward because he's been only using 2nd and 3rd and 4th gear. Because 1st gear is pointless in this car.
I mean, like,
unless you're going to fucking lift the front end up. Right. 875 horsepower in a car that weighs less than 2,000 pounds. And it was a convertible.
Oh, that's crazy.
And it had the convertible door was shortened so that they could run extra body frame through to keep from torquing itself all. 900 fucking horsepower 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Car was crazy. I will never do a car like that again, and that's all I can think about when I think about Shelby's.
That's a lot of horsepower. That the Shelby I would have driven is like 400. Like, it's like half still a lot of horsepower.
It's a lot of horsepower.
But I mean, the what is it? The GTR Nismo is probably like 460.
Yeah, 460 tuned up to 500.
Mm-hmm.
The Porsche is probably 350 unless you go for the turbo, which is pushing 500.
Porsche GTR, yeah, depending on which one you drive.
Yeah.
I'm not a Porsche fan, so I don't like how they drive.
I love the sound.
The sound's great.
Their engines are my favorite.
Sounds amazing. I'm talking about putting it on the track. The last thing I want to do is put a portion of the wall at the bus stop at Watkins Glen.
No,
because I know you're gonna be like, oh, let's just putt through the bus stop. I'm gonna hit that bitch at like 100 miles an hour, and hopefully it ends well.
Oh my god, yeah, no, that would be fun.
I'll definitely attend. I don't know if I will drive, but
your wife will. If I get you actually into a real race car, your wife will hunt me down and murder me.
Nah, she'd be fine with it as long as I'm not racing.
It's not the. It's the. This is the gateway drug.
Oh yeah. It's like the last thing is like I could just see like a flatbed pulling up with like a Mazda MX-5. Like, what the fuck is that? Oh, that's my new race car, by the way. I'm going to be going every other weekend to Virginia International Speedway.
And somehow your wife calls me. It's all your fault.
Yeah, you guys would be getting a phone call. why did you do this? It all started with Gran Turismo. But no, that would be that's an awesome Father's Day gift. You'll enjoy it.
It should be
4
fun.
laps around Watkins Glen. That's cool. It does it include like
they got a whole prep and
whole prep
all the
course
day and
and
all that stuff. Yeah.
fire suit, like the whole 9.
Yeah. This isn't Nuremberg where they allow anybody to go take any car as long as it's street legal on the motherfucker.
Yeah. That's for my 40th birthday next year. I'm thinking about doing either the Nürburgring 24 or the Spa 24.
I'll attend that. I'll have fun with that. I will not.
I'm not going to race.
Nuremberg.
No, I'm going to watch it.
But I mean, the fun thing about Nuremberg is I go drive it.
Oh, I'll drive it. Yeah,
I'm not racing.
No.
But you can drive at any speed you want. What car you want to rent? BMW M3?
Yeah, M4. I'd probably do an M4. Yeah. I don't need anything fancy.
Do you ever watch that guy that does Nuremberg laps on YouTube?
Misha?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, all the time. Oh. That dude, he just rolled an M4.
Yeah, he did. He almost died.
Yeah, he did. And it was fucking scary as hell, dude. But that guy's also, he's racing.
Well, he knows every inch of that track.
Yeah. I think at one point he said how many laps he's done, and it's well over 1,000.
Yeah,
like it's 1,000 laps at 8 miles. Like that's a lot of, or not even 8 miles. It's like 24 miles, I think.
Yeah, it's
Nordschleifer. I don't know how long the Nordschleifer is. Length 12.93 miles.
That's a hell of
It's a lot. That's a long track. Most tracks are what, 1.5 miles?
If that. My God. But it's such a good track. It's so fun.
Thank you for listening to another episode of our podcast. To support us, please subscribe on LinkedIn, Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. We love feedback. You can reach us at feedback@biteswisdom.com. Until next time, stay curious.